Dan. Hey, Dan, do you hear me? Dan. I'm good.
Mr. Benjamin, how are you? My volume. Test. Hey, Dan, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Paul.
Let's go. There he is. David, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Mine was unmuted.
Okay. Bob is with us tonight, but please just communicate with him in the chat mode as he recovers from his procedure. Robert, welcome back to America.
Thank you, Paul. Thanks for covering the agenda. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you. Mark, how are you?
I'm very good, Paul. How are you?
Good.
Sorry I missed last month's meeting. I had a flat tire that turned into way more than it should have. So
Over beer, I'll tell you my flat tire stories. Mr. Curran, how are you?
I'm good, Paul. How are you?
Good. Mr. Benjamin. You're muted, Dan.
I said I'm doing good, just
There
for
you
spite.
go. Hey, Joe, how are you?
I'm doing good. How's everybody doing?
Pretty good.
Good.
Miriam will not be with us tonight. She's down for the count with, believe it or not, she has COVID. So she's getting her rest. I hope she recovers and gets her strength back. Christy, how you doing? Hello, Christy, you're on mute. Okay. So I think we've got 9 participants. Just check here. Got it. Record high captions. All right. So let's go ahead and call the meeting to order here. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. As we always do. I pledge allegiance to
Pledge
the
allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America
and to the republic
which it
which
stands,
stands one
one
nation,
nation, under God,
under God, indivisible,
indivisible,
with
liberty
liberty and justice for all.
and just a moment for those veterans that are not with us any longer that have passed away. All right. David, do you want to take, you got your report?
Yes,
Do we-
I
do we want to
So you
do we want to
approve
approve the minutes, Paul?
January?
Yeah, let's approve the minutes first. Thank you.
Move?
Okay, we got a motion, second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed to the minutes?
No.
Okay, January minutes are approved.
Thank you.
And those-
Sorry, Dave.
Those can be sent to Sherry to be posted.
Okay.
Okay. Now for the Veteran Services Office report to the Veterans Advisory Board, February 28th, 2023. Wakefield Veterans Monthly Food Bank was held Wednesday, February 15th, from 10 a.m. through noon behind the Senior Center at 30 Converse Street in Wakefield. We now have 24 participants in the program, of which 3 have to be delivered due to transportation difficulties. Both the Wakefield Food Pantry and the Greater Boston Food Bank contribute to this humanitarian effort. Community awareness. I've been accelerating the awareness of the services offered to the community with a new platform on social media called Park Bench Wakefield. It has been developed by Nicole DeMonica, who has been interviewing businesses and departments in the community to elevate the awareness of hometown structural commerce and information. These social dealings with the community and integrated platforms should and will bring a larger, more social awareness to veteran services and businesses alike. Along with the communications manager for Wakefield, Jennifer McDonald, the networking for our services should grow proportionately to the number of veterans within the town. The coffee socials, the Daily Adam newspaper, Veterans Corner, Memorial Day and Veterans Day socials at the middle school, the kiosk, and now the social media, we should see a greater awareness over the next few months, increasing almost exponentially. As such, the 18-hour-a-week position for veteran service officers may need to be revisited in the 2025 budget to advance to a 30-hour-a-week position. The veteran benefits and spousal benefits have been increasing over the last 4 years to a point that overshadows the Chapter 115 program. The Medal of Fidelity. As mentioned last month, the Medal of Fidelity is now being offered to families for veterans who have died of wartime service-connected disabilities. The applications require certain information that may not have been mentioned in the past. For those applying for it, as stated on the application documentation, should come either from federal or state medical records identifying how the cause of death was service-connected. A cover letter from my office can accompany the application, and I can research the documents to send. The 4 chaplains. The memorial service for the 4 chaplains from the USS Dorchester sinking 80 years ago on February 3rd, 1943, as a result of a German U-boat, was held at the Temple Emmanuel on Chestnut Street, Wakefield, Friday, February 3rd, 2023. The extreme sub-zero cold weather did not stop us from remembrance of these heroes. Now they gave the ultimate sacrifice. The turnout was good, and the temple invited us all inside to keep us from the extreme exposure to the elements. At which time the chairperson, Paul Consigliere, had a representative from each of the denominations of the chaplains read off a segment on those chaplains. Chapter 115. We have 2 new clients applying for Chapter 115 within the next few weeks, as they are gathering paperwork to support the initial qualifications. We also have 1 additional Chapter 115 participant who has been accepted to the program. Under Chapter 115, the Massachusetts General Laws of the Commonwealth provides a uniform program of financial and medical assistance for veterans and their dependents. Qualifying veterans and dependents receive necessary financial assistance for food, shelter, clothing, fuel, and medical care in accordance with a formula that takes into consideration the number of dependents and income from all sources. The maximum income in a single per person applying is $2,265 a month. For a married 2-person claim, the maximum is $3,052. The maximum assets, not counting their home or their vehicle, for a single applicant is $8,400. Married applicants is $16,600. As of January 1st, the PACT Act letters have been going out to any veterans or surviving spouses who in the past were denied compensation for service-connected issues, up to and including death. The Coffee Soldier that was held Saturday, February 18th at the Quannapowitt Yacht Club on Linda Road from 10 to 12 noon. We had a large turnout with veterans from all branches interacting and contributing to the gathering. We discussed everything from the PACT Act to compensation and pensions. The next social will be held on Saturday, March 18th, 10 a.m. to noon. And as always, for appointments for the Veterans Service Office, we're now located downstairs at the Senior Center, 30 Converse Street, Wakefield, and is by appointment only. Thank you. If I can say one thing too about the Medal of Fidelity, I've had a couple of applicants come into a problem with it because they were denied because they did not have records pertaining to the cause of death relative to their service in the environments of the hazard materials. With the VA, the left hand sometimes doesn't know what the right hand is doing. In other words, the people who do the medal distribution out of Bedford, Mass, Hanscom Field, they do not have necessarily access to the VetraSpec files, which would give them the medical documentation. So what has to be done, and I'm going to be doing it for one of my clients probably this week, is sending along a copy of the death certificate highlighted with the cause of death relative to the exposure to the harmful chemicals. One other thing I wanted to bring up, hold on. Chapter 115. Yes. The lawsuits at Camp Lejeune. I had 4 voicemails when I came in tonight. Luckily answered all of them. She asked that her husband wants to put in a lawsuit against him. He has 100% disability. She asked, will that affect his claim? And as I've mentioned in the past at these meetings, it will affect the claim. You can't sue the government twice. A class action suit may get some funding for him, but the VA will say, well, for example, say it's $50,000 lawsuit on a class action that individual would get. The VA will take back the 50,000 over increments of whatever they feel is justifiable, 1,000 from your claim, 2,000 a month until it's paid off. And that being said, on the PACT Act, one of the items on it specifies that it will affect any loss or any benefits of compensation a veteran has going through with a lawsuit. Are there any questions for me at this time? Okay, that being said, Paul, there you go.
Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate the in-depth details and the report. I just also want to make mention Dale Finlay, I think, has joined here as just as a member of the town, as a resident here. And Dale is a veteran that is interested in perhaps coming to the board later on down the road. Welcome, Dale. VSO report. So the Veterans Coffee Social, the next one is March 21st. Just a question is, do you have any theme, or is there a guest speaker?
March 18th, Paul, excuse me, let me make sure that calendar is correct.
March 18, I'm sorry, March 18.
Yeah,
Thank
March 18th. I currently do not, but I will have one by then, and I'll put it on the advertisement. There's a lot of different areas I'm looking at. Number one is the tax exemption program. At the last coffee social, that item came up twice. And also for residents in Wakefield who are 100% disabled, who are classified as unemployable. However, they are still working part-time in some cases in jobs that they can perform tasks in. Now, under 60 years old, for example, they're not getting the full 100% benefit of the tax exemption program for their real estate. And I'm going to find out why. I'm going to be working on that next week. And I hope to have maybe to invite Victor to the meeting once again. Maybe he can answer some of those questions.
That'd be a good thing to do.
Yeah, Paul, I think at the next coffee social, I'll talk to somebody from the assessor's office that may be there to answer some of those questions also. So that may help out.
Okay. Victor probably has a wealth of knowledge in that area and can probably deliver the answers that we seek in that regard. But good questions. I'm going to just bring up, I know it's further down in the agenda here, but there are, to follow up with the disabled piece, I do have, you can't see it there, but there's two documents, Senate docket 1022 and also the House docket 2519 for those benefits for property tax exemption for disabled veterans. Those are currently in flight under the current administration, sponsored by Senator Jason Lewis and also sponsored in the House by Representative Kate Lippert-Garabedian. To the best of my knowledge, the last I looked, Representative Donald Wong has not signed on, and I would encourage him to take a look at this, and might be something that is that we can get a message to him to give consideration to be a co-sponsor for that bill in the House.
I think it might be noted too that in Governor Healy's budget for the coming year, I think as far as for veterans and just residents, that they're thinking about taking that tax credit and going from $1,200 to doubling it to $2,400. So I know the town also reciprocates in that and does the same thing for Wakefield. So we'll have to see on that. That'll help out on taxes, especially
Right.
with the new coming up in Wakefield.
The critical piece of that, though, is to turn it is to base it on the cost of living allowance as opposed to just having a flat rate. But I have also seen that, and thank you very much for bringing that up. That's good to know.
It should, as you said, Paul, I believe, in Dan, I believe that it should be on a year, every year, if the COLA goes up, so should that tax thing as well. The tax abatement.
Yes. Okay, Dan Benjamin brought up a piece here to me about veterans outreach, and I think it's worthy of a little bit of discussion. I think it's important that the veterans reach out to the community. Just kind of a refresher. Some of the things that we have done in addition to helping to moderate and schedule and sponsor the events for Veterans Day, Memorial Day, for the Four Chaplains Day. We've also done things with the Chamber of Commerce and local merchants in terms of getting veterans discounts. And that's something I think that we may want to print in the Wakefield Daily Item as a list of to highlight and thank those veterans that do, or those businesses in town that do offer a veterans benefit and a veterans discount for their services and their goods. But Dan, you may have some other ideas for outreach within the community.
Well, I think this is things that can be coming up in the next months, you know, this summer, this fall, different things. We do a lot of them as it is right now. But, you know, I think we could still have some more outreach. I know, Paul, as chairman, you end up, you know, going for the ceremony for Memorial Day, for Veterans Day, for Chaplains Day, Greece Across America. Kind of spread that out and take a little load off of you and put it onto a subcommittee within the Veterans Advisory Board. And, you know, there's things we could do for the 4th of July parade. I'm trying to get involved as far as the veterans part of that 4th of July parade. We could even have a float in it. You know, Wakefield 101, again, get a hold of some veterans. And I think that was brought up at one of the town council meetings that we should have more outreach. And, you know, I don't know, you know, I talked to Dave about that. He's got an increasing workload there. But, you know, see what we can do more as far as outreach and farm it out to different members of the committee.
And Dan, to reiterate on that, one subject there, which is huge, is the communication network. And what I'm going to do is I have, my grandson is looking to do a community service project coming up for his next level of going into the 8th grade, I guess. He has to do 5 hours of community service. So I'm going to have him in my office, and all the folders I have for all the veterans from Wakefield that I have been doing over the last 3.5, 4 years, I do have email addresses for them. I'm going to have him to put that together as a tool for communicating and webbing and networking. So I should have been working on this right along, but I've been so busy, I haven't had a chance to. I've got so many folders now in my drawers that I have to put boxes of them aside. But that's one of the communication tools we can use. And I think by doing that, Dan, you're correct. We can spread it out so people on the advisory board here can each take, maybe if we have a subject coming up, they can each pick on one and do it themselves and get the networking of emails and get that going.
Another thing about the last coffee social we had was we had a member of the youth council there, which was good to see. And we gave some suggestions to him about, you know, outreach as far as the youth in Wakefield. And, you know, there's always, you know, that outreach that we can get a hold of some guys that might want to join the military after they get through high school.
Well, you just hit the #1 problem that they're working on in America. Recruiting and retention.
Paul,
Recruiting and retention is the #1 challenge right now for the Department of Defense.
Paul, do you know if they still allow recruiters to come into the high school or not? I know, I think when I was a senior, junior, that they slowly started to get rid of that. I don't know if that's still a thing or not.
To the best of my knowledge, they do allow them, and I know at the college level, if they don't allow recruiters on campus, they don't get federal funds. There's a funding issue that's behind that in Title X. So yes, the recruiters are allowed to come on to the high school campuses. I will say that it's been a challenge to kind of get a response from the guidance team at the high school, reference military careers. I have gotten in touch with one of the guidance counselors, and the report is that there's only one student right now in her group that she manages that is interested in applying to a service academy. Okay. I kind of think back to, my knowledge of, we have 1% of the American population that serves, and one student interested in the military is far less than 1% out of the high school. Okay. I think something that's kind of been buzzing around in my mind is maybe perhaps a quick meeting with a couple of us, perhaps with the principal and a few other selected individuals at the high school, to just introduce ourselves. And that might be something that we can do this month, in the month of March. Okay. And I encourage that be done before the April and May timeframe, because we typically are asked to, the high school typically does a Memorial Day program in the morning with the students. And I think the sooner the better, because not all students are going to go to college. Some are going to want to know some information about the military, and some are going to ask questions about college programs when they do join the military, and education benefits. And that's definitely one of the pillars that the VA does offer. So that's a good question, Bill.
I think there's still a couple of high schools around this area that have junior ROTC too. I believe Lynn English has a larger one too.
Lynn English is a very big program, very successful. Beverly has them. Gloucester has a program. There are a couple dozen programs that have junior ROTC in the area. Wakefield does not. I'd kind of like to just focus on Wakefield Memorial High School. It's another thing that I will also say, the buzz around town and Wakefield right now has been, you're going to see a lot of, people supporting the new high school. The one piece about that plan, as I attended the town meeting that they had at the high school last month, that was very interesting. It is the Wakefield Memorial High School. What was discussed to prepare for that meeting was the new Wakefield High School. And the word memorial was omitted from much of the conversation. And what we offer the community as veterans is to remind the community that it's the Wakefield Memorial High School, and it's veterans, and it's also other graduates and other residents of town that have become successful in their careers that have graduated from the high school. And I think that's an important aspect of the plan for the new building and the new high school. And as veterans, all of us, whether we graduated from Wakefield Memorial High School or not, have a responsibility to kind of remind our school committee and teachers and students that the M is for memorial, to remember others that have served in the high school and graduated from the high school and gone on with careers. And the military service is definitely one of those areas. I'd kind of like to see a little more conversation for the new high school, include the word memorial in it as we go forward. Just personal opinion. Yes.
WMHS.
That's right. And just, a little bit of a follow-up on that. That's part of the community outreach that Dan is talking about. And there's a lot of, there's definitely a lot of opportunity. And I'll give you one example, and this goes in along with the agenda items here. On the 10th of February, I had an opportunity to accept an invitation to join the crew and the commander of the USS Thomas Hudner out of Mayport in Florida. The Navy didn't pay for that. I paid for that out of my own pocket. But I was sponsored by the commander and the crew. I'd never been aboard a battleship before. It was an enlightening experience, and I experienced that. I was with 250 sailors for a complete day. It started at 6 a.m. boarding the ship, and ended about 6:30, 7 o'clock at night. As you know, we went through a day, but we fired the weapons. We didn't fire the anti-sub missiles, but we fired the surface to air, the 105. We fired the 30 millimeter and some of the machine guns that the ship has to offer. And I had a chance to see it from stem to stern, and the engine room and some of the other information center and things like that that were classified, to kind of see how that operates. And I'm an Army guy. It's kind of like running an M1 Abrams tank with 250 people inside. Okay, so it was a great experience. I saw a lot of motivated service members and very, very caring family members. It was a great day at sea. And if you get an opportunity like that, I encourage you to take advantage of it. I got to put my obligation to the town is to probably put something into the Wakefield item in the Veterans Corner piece there to kind of follow up on that, which I plan to do. Any questions about that from you guys? Okay. Just a note there, the commander of the USS Thomas Hudner is a graduate of Wakefield High School, and her parents are still residents here, and she and her family a little bit down the road plan to live here in Wakefield, okay, once their military careers are over. But very, very supportive of the town of Wakefield. I mentioned the Veterans Discount Program, and Christy, you've done a lot of work on that.
Yes, we have, me and David.
What can we do to kind of spotlight that and maybe add some more merchants to the list?
Hit the pavements again and walk into some new places, or some places that were not open when we went there. I have no problem doing that. And like you had mentioned about listing some of the businesses that are on our list that are giving the discount in the paper, to recognize those restaurants or whatnot, that would be fantastic.
And even if, once we did that little blurb in the Veterans Corner, Christie, we might want to put down the bottom something to the effect that if your business is not participating in this program, please contact David Mangan's office in this number, or email me or you. And we'll just use me, that way it doesn't, it's too confounded. Do it that way, and you and I can follow up with it maybe in one afternoon or whatever on a Saturday. Just calling people back and going to their location and giving them the decal and giving them the whole layout of the land.
I think that's great.
Yep.
That's another item that can one of you take that on and maybe get that into the paper in the Veterans Corner?
Yeah, I'll do that with Christy. We'll do it together, Christy. We'll meet up in a couple of weeks. All right.
Okay. Just let me know when you want to.
Okay, and I think also, at some point, it was, and Paul, you suggested something in an email to me yesterday or today, I think. That we should have recognize a veteran in the town, or maybe a business that's good to veterans, or once in a while have a little, veteran of the month kind of thing, or if they want their name in or whatever, maybe recognizing an achievement of a veteran who has come from ground zero and has been very successful as a result of their military service, or what the military has done for them, or family perhaps might want to say, the veterans, as being a veteran spouse or whatever, here's what the veterans program has done for us, whatever it is, we can look at it and piecemeal it little by little and find some direction that'll make it be more outstanding in the field.
So the thought that I had on that, and see if this kind of helps, was maybe at the Veterans Coffee, we stand up, and it's nothing more than just presenting a certificate, and recognizing somebody, an individual or a business that has done good to support a veteran. I've noticed in some of the other towns, surrounding towns, when I go in to get a pizza or something like that, there's certificates from the veteran service officer thanking them for their service and providing a discount to the veterans or something like that. And there may be a picture of the presentation that is posted in their local paper.
We start with Honeydew, Paul. We can start with Honeydew and
Yeah.
Derek.
That's a great suggestion.
Yep.
Invite him to the coffee, so yeah, have him carry the coffee over. No, seriously, that's what I would start there, for sure.
I think that's a great idea. And Honeydew is definitely on the list. I was also thinking of, several others that have come to mind. The banners, for example, in town from Bob Sardella, and perhaps also recognizing, even Dennis for the work that he does with
Yep.
DPW and supporting our events and everything with the flags and the banners, and providing and getting them up and hanging them and everything else. That kind of recognition, I think, goes a long way. That's good stuff to do.
Can I make a suggestion? And I've made it before, and maybe Bob Vincent might hear this. Maybe invite some veteran who has come back from a combat area to a meeting of the town council, and just the town council just give them a thank you and maybe buy them a dinner.
Good idea. Speaking on behalf of Bob, he did bring something out to me that I did not know as he was entering into his new job there as a town councilman. New England and some cities and towns in upstate New York are the only areas in the country really that have what we call town meeting and town gathering. It's a different twist on our democratic process. It's something that's unique to our area. And I think, Dan, that's a great idea, because there's 44 other states that do not do a town council, okay, like we do here in New England and Wakefield. So that's a good idea. Not all veterans are, come back to Wakefield. Some veterans move into Wakefield, from other places, and they've never been in New England. I'm one of those. Okay, I've had to be trained, and it's taken 35 years to train me to become a New Englander. So I'm still learning.
When I went off,
The accent, you get the accent.
gave me a wallet that had the town seal on it. I still have that wallet.
Really? Okay. I like the idea. Any other items for discussion and I think these are excellent points for outreach and things that we can do just within the community to kind of sort of spotlight the activities, not only that we do here, for those of us that are on the board, but there's other things that are going on out in the community that can be spotlighted and highlighted. Let's see. I have not done any work on updating our bylaw charter or operating procedures, other than what I had to report last month in January. And that's something that I need to make an appointment with and probably it is very interesting as we go through how we operate as a board. I'm learning that our tenure, okay, is kind of selective, and this kind of will tag off of reappointments, but a simple document that basically says these are our tenures, these are the positions, really needs to be put into place, because I've had many back and forths with Sherry, and she knows how it operates, but I don't know how it operates. And I'm sure that those of us that are on the board are also kind of inquiring on how these positions and things are determined. And for example, I did not know that we have to, renew our status. There's a process to do that. And then as we renew our status, it has to be approved by town council. That's just very similar to a hiring process that people go through, but even for the volunteer jobs, even for a position on the Veterans Advisory Board, that process is still in place. I do want to just report on the reappointments. I did talk to Sherry and connect with her. She was very quick to get back with us. There were 7 openings that had to be reapplied for. 5 of us have reapplied. 2 of us did not reapply. So that means 2 openings will come about later on in the spring. And I'm sure Sherry Dalton will make those announcements that will be posted on the town website for availability. And most of that will occur in and around the month of April. Again, I got a note from Councilor Vincent, and he updated us on the Soldiers and Sailors Monument. And I think Dan Benjamin, you may know some other information, but to date, I don't think we've received the report and from the January, or from, actually it was a December inspection of the monument. Have you heard anything else?
Yeah, the company, I think, is supposed to turn the report into Joe Conway like March 1st, thereabouts, give or take. That's be tomorrow.
Okay. I do know that ARPA funds have been used to get that report and inspection documented and conducted. We'll see what we can do for the future in terms of money to take care of what needs to be done based on that report.
I think Nancy was supposed to give them the appraisal I had like 15 years ago or something.
There was, yes, there was an appraisal 15 years ago. I have not seen that document, though. I don't know if Mr. Conway has that document.
Yeah, Paul, I can try to talk for a second.
Okay.
This is Bob. I had dental surgery earlier today, so it's not easy for me to communicate. Yeah, that 2007, this company came out and did an assessment of the memorial, but the town didn't allocate the money to do the special test they needed to do. What the town council decided to do last fall was allocate $10,000 towards getting a comprehensive estimate of repair. I talked to Mr. Mayo last night, the town administrator, at our town council meeting, and he does anticipate getting the estimated repair within the next few days. Now, whether I can get it on the agenda for in March to see if the town council is willing to allocate either town funds with a recommendation for town meeting for that, or ARPA funds, depends upon whether we receive the estimated report. How much is that report? The reason time is a little bit of the essence in March is the big state grant, which is a matching grant. The application is due March 17th. But the town has to show that we're willing to allocate 75% of the overall costs, although we could get a 50% matching grant from the state. So I don't know whether all these things are going to fall into place within the next couple of weeks, because frankly, the town council is having 3-4 hour meetings every 2 weeks because we're in the middle of budget season. The other couple of things I did want to quickly mention is there is no official position to change the name from Wakefield Memorial High School to Wakefield High School. If you heard people at town meeting refer to it as Wakefield High School, that was just the term of art that they use. There's nothing official to change the name. The application for reappointment, because the Veterans Advisory Board pursuant to state statute can have up to 15 people serve on the Veterans Advisory Board, your board was increased to 10 recently. The town council does try to structure the reappointments, so you're not reappointing an entire committee every year or every few years. You just happen to have 7 of your 10 are up this April. So at some point in time in April, we'll get the list from Sherry of those who applied for reappointment. And that's what happens. You get a certain term, usually it's 3 years, on any board, not just the Veterans Advisory Board, any committee or commission or board in town, volunteer board, and then you have to reapply. So there's no guarantee that anybody stays on. Normally when they do reapply, they get reappointed, but there is a process, as you indicated, to reapply. On the merchant discount, I thought about that too. Another thing I would be willing to do if I had the list is I don't mind reading the list at town council meeting. Because at the end of the town council meeting, every one of the town council members gets a chance to speak during announcements. Often the announcements are, this is what's going on in town. This is what's going on with the Wakefield High School, whether it's a play or a sporting event. I'm certainly more than happy to read the list of the merchants. I also talked to the fire department about recognizing one of the firemen we have reservists in both the police department and the fire department. And I thought it might be nice, especially when one of these individuals come back from deployment or comes back from their 2 weeks, to bring them in and to thank them for their military service. So these are, like I said, current employees in the town as well. So I've given that some thought. And the last thing is, as far as Dave's job as the VSO, I did want to explore the possibility in the future of trying to increase the number of hours for the VSO. The VSO is one of those jobs that's similar to the town assessor, public health, and a couple others that we have in town that you can't, Wakefield doesn't just make the decision on that. You know, there's a regional service, veteran service officer serving Saugus and Melrose. And so we have to consult with others as well. We don't have the unilateral authority to just do that ourselves, but that is something that I've talked to our town accountant and town administrator on. And I'm going to sit down with Dave at some point in time when I'm feeling better and just explore that possibility for the future for Wakefield. Thanks.
Thank you, Bob. I just want to follow up on those, on the reappointment. There was a question that was asked in terms of your availability, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, I think, on those reappointment statements. So those that resubmitted and requested reappointment, indicated their availability for those terms to Sherry. So that's something that we will continue to work with Sherry and follow up on. Any questions for the agenda items? The last point that I want to bring out, I did get a confirmation for Memorial Day, and I'm happy to make the announcement. But Andrew Biggio is the guest speaker for Memorial Day. He has confirmed. And Andrew is a former Marine that served in the Gulf War. He's currently a state trooper, and is more than happy to be the guest speaker. And why is he a good guest speaker? Andrew wrote a really, really riveting book called The Rifle. And I highly recommend that you read it. It is available in the library. It's very moving. His book, The Rifle, is a collection of stories from World War II veterans that have experienced the battles in the Pacific, the battles in Europe, and their service during that time. And, they would sign rifle that Andrew has, and the stories that he documented and the signatures that he collected are the content of his book, which is really a good read. And it's ironically, it's taken us about 3 years to get him to speak at one of our events. So he is available for Memorial Day this year, and I can't tell you how glad I am to have him as our guest speaker. He's also a local resident, and he has family here in the area, Wakefield and Stoneham and Saugus area.
He one of our first VSOs, I believe, too.
Yes.
Yes,
Oh, the Wounded Warrior Project, I think, the motorcycle ride.
he's the king behind the motorcycle ride. Yes, he's raised a lot of money for Massachusetts, for the Massachusetts Fallen Hero Fund through the motorcycle ride that he's done, and I'm almost certain that the proceeds from the sale of his book also a large portion of that go to the fallen soldiers of Massachusetts fund. So he's just
Paul,
a great example for the community.
Paul, is he related to Coach Biggio, who was the Wakefield High School coach and for baseball and golf, I think?
It's a large family, Bill, and I've gone to several different functions, and I can only tell you that I've met uncles that are related to him. They've known each other. They haven't seen each other in years. It's a large family. So it's quite possible that he is related.
Paul, on Memorial Day also, I'm planning and preparing to have at least 2 medals of fidelity awarded to the 2 families here in Wakefield who are eligible for that medal.
Okay.
And of course, the flags are in. We have some 3,000 flags that came in. They're upstairs. And we can probably rely on the same team we had last year of volunteers once we start advertising them.
Yes.
And the concept that you have, the idea you have also about having that entrance door as a cover so everyone walks by the memorial wall at the Galvin and sees all of the veterans that are there will be great. That'll be awesome.
My idea is just to kind of share it with the group. In fact, Rob, if you can book the Galvin Middle School for Memorial Day for the 1 o'clock ceremony, that we have to work through that through the high school website.
Yep.
That's something that Sherry can also help out with if you're not able to do that.
Yep.
The plan though that Dave is talking about is when we enter the middle school and the Memorial Auditorium, we usually enter in the first door and make that left and then go in and grab our seats. And when you do that, you don't get a chance to walk by the what I call the monument, the memorial of those that are fallen, the photographs of the fallen soldiers. What I'd like to do is for the general public to enter in the second door, go beyond the bathrooms, and then make that left turn and enter in the Memorial Auditorium, so that they have a chance to see the photographs of those that lost their lives in action, never took off their uniform. The other piece of this, though, Dave, is I think it's Karen up in Gloucester has the placards for the 7,500 that have lost their lives in the Gulf War on Terror.
Karen Tyler, yes.
And I'd like to see if Karen, I'll go get them, but I'd like to have that display. And put that on the right side as people go down the hallway, because that is extremely impressionable also for Memorial Day.
One more thing on that, at the last coffee social, I didn't mention it in the report, but the young man from the high school, I'm sorry, the middle school who did attend, he was there, and it was brought up that he's gonna reach out and see if he can't get the scanning devices for the phones that Dan had recommended to him about. Dan, go ahead.
QR code. In other words, under each picture, have a biography, and a kid could get there with a cell phone and hit the QR code on it and get a complete biography of the picture of that person. Right now, all you have is a name and you know nothing about him. I had also brought that up to the Boy Scouts as maybe an Eagle Scout project. And then I brought that up to the Youth Council to think it over. So I think he might bring that back to the Youth Council. Again, this is getting the younger people involved with veterans in town.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay. Thank you for getting that question out. That's a good idea. And a lot of that information may be available on the VA website right now, because a lot of if you drill into the cemeteries and find a cemetery or find a grave, they now list a lot of that information about the service member as families go through the pictures and photographs and awards and decorations and documents. A lot of that information is now being made available by the families to the Veterans Administration to be posted for public knowledge. Very similar to what we've done with the Vietnam Wall. All those names have got information that has been donated by families. So Dan, that is very close to being to get a QR code with the information about those service members. It's very, very close to being done. And that would be an excellent Eagle Scout project if they can do something.
I don't know. There's quite a few pictures up there. There's well over 100, right?
I think it's a little bit over 100. There's a total of 161 fallen from town. And the majority of them are the photographs there in Memorial Hall. And just on the memorial aspect of it, there is, I don't know who has the plaque for Gerald F. Scott.
It's at the high school, Paul. There's
Okay.
two of them there. One of them for Gerald Scott, and the other one, I have it on my folder here. I don't have it available right now, but there is a bronze plaque there. And about 2 years ago, I spoke with the principal of the school about it, and they said that it would be available for the new school when it gets built. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, they have it, they do have it, they do have it.
Okay, because the one for Gerald F. Scott was at the Galvin Middle School, the old Galvin Middle School, and then when they did the new one, it didn't get put back up, but the plan is to put that up on the new Wakefield Memorial High School. I don't want to lose those.
How many were there? Two of them?
There were two of them, that,
Think- Maybe a Muse. Was there a Muse?
Yes, yes, very good, yeah. I'm looking up the email now.
so, yeah. Those memorials, if they are planned to go, to be recognized in the construction and the plan for the new Wakefield Memorial High School, I just would like to connect where they are to that committee so that they're aware of it. Any other business that we have to discuss or that you'd like to share?
Do they still have that POW chair with the flag? They used to move it around to different places in town, the library, the high school.
That was in town hall at one time, yes.
Whatever happened to it? Reminds me of the one they have in the cafeteria up the VA in Bedford. They got a place setting for a veteran.
Yes,
It's always-
A lot of VFWs have them as well. And the Dockside Restaurant on Memorial Day, they set one up there with the flag on it and with the, a table place setting with the POW marker. Floramos, I'm sorry.
Where the meat falls off the bone.
You got it.
that's a good question. I do not know what has happened to that chair. There may be a basement at town hall that it is in.
Again, it's a good that they could deliver it to maybe the elementary schools, have it there for a week, another school. And again, it gets the kids involved. You know, I remember when we got the book there, What is a Veteran? And dropped off a few copies at different elementary schools. You know, it gets the younger kids involved in what a veteran is.
Yeah. I can take that on with the folks at town hall. I think it is in storage, but I'm not sure if it's in the basement or where they store some of the things from town hall. But I'll take that one on to get the chair.
Things
That would
get in
be-
the storage and they have a way of falling away.
Well, that's true. That's true. And that is another thing that I'm also contemplating, that there is a ceremony for the missing man table or the missing soldier table. There is a ceremony that we can integrate into the Memorial Day program. And we can actually, if I can find that chair, we might be able to do something on the stage itself for Memorial Day. Any other ideas? Any other thoughts or suggestions? Dale, do you have any contributions? You're on mute. Try the bottom right corner there. There you go. Nope. Dale, you're still on mute. Dale? Let's see. Yeah, I can't do it. So Dale, we can't hear you. You have to unmute.
A little red microphone.
Okay. Still can't hear you. Anyway, I appreciate I appreciate you dropping in and visiting. So perhaps we will continue to have you on the board there in the future. But keep us informed, and you're welcome to join us at the coffees. And I just want to say that the next meeting is March 21st. Do I have that right, Rob?
Yes, you do.
Yep. And that's Tuesday. That'll be a Zoom at 6:30 PM and in March.
And the coffee social is the 18th of March.
The coffee social is the 18th of March, just before that meeting.
Can I ask the question on the coffee socials coming up? I know the yacht club, all of a sudden people start putting their boats in. How good are we till what time of the year?
Okay, that's a good question, Dan. I did inquire on that. And Bonnie said that up until probably April, or even May would be good. She said there shouldn't be an issue because when they're out on the boats, they're not in the yacht club for that time period of the day. But I'll get more specific at the next meeting. I'll get a determination from her exactly how far into the warmer weather we can go. And if we need to, we can always meet here at the senior center. Karen Burke, the director, has given me authorization for a Saturday meeting here because they're closed. But I have access to the building. So we could come in at the 10 o'clock to 12 and the same procedure. We have seats and everything else available upstairs.
On the Veterans Corner, I think you should put a little thing thanking the Quantipowic Yacht Club too for what they've done.
Absolutely, absolutely. That would be another point to look at. Yeah, even like some of the fundraisers, like the Dockside and Jack, who gave us that fundraising benefit that helped quite a bit, you know. So we'll go from that point. And Dale, I was looking at my text here from Dale. Dale worked on the USS Friendship ship out of Salem, but I guess 10 years he was on that. I could be wrong there, Dale, and you can correct me next time I see you. But it's pretty incredible some of the history he has with old ships. So that's a good Navy guy or Coast Guard, I think. Anyway, there we go.
Hey, Dave, you also triggered my memory. When you mentioned the Council on Aging, I just wanted to give a shout out. There's a very interesting trip that's on Tuesday, May 9th. That may be of interest to some in the group, but please pass it on. It's a full day, and you go to East Hill Farm, which is at the base of Mount Monadnock. Basically, you catch a bus, and it's a guided tour that will show historical covered bridges in New Hampshire. And they will also do a stop at the Bolton Spring Farm in Bolton, Massachusetts, to visit the bakery. Apparently, these are 5-star places that are here in New England. Mount Monadnock, I'm very familiar with. I've climbed it several times. The inn at East Hill Farm is also a really cool place to go, especially in the spring. I have not been to the bakery, but that is a trip. It's on a Tuesday for those that are interested. And the last shout out that I want to give is the Room to Write is also starting up a program at the senior center. That is a very good program for people that are interested in kind of being creative and learning, getting their creative writing skills out for poetry and for narratives. I encourage you to participate in that program. It does not cost anything, and I believe it is starting up again in March. I just wanted to. Yes, it's March 7th, 14th, and 21st. There's 3 sessions, and it goes from 1:30 to 2:45. Highly recommended from those that are affiliated with the Room to Write session here in Wakefield. Good program.
Can anyone hear me now?
Hey,
Yes.
there he is, Dale.
Okay, I finally found the screen to turn on the sound. Guys, I gotta say, I'm so super impressed, and ladies, I'm super impressed with the group. You guys are really right on it. I look forward to hopefully joining you and being of some assistance and help.
Well, Dale,
That's all.
Yes, you do.
you're now qualified. You found the mute button, so.
I did. Yes.
No, thank you
I'm
for
not
joining.
Yes, and just as a thought, okay, my son is a Navy guy. He's been in 26 years. He just finished a combat tour. Well, not full combat. He has had many combat tours, but he did a tour of the South China Sea and finished it up in August, flying literally right next to Chinese J-16s, taking pictures of each other with their cameras. So they're right on the bleeding edge. So it's been interesting.
So is he coming back to Wakefield?
Not right away. He's got children in California and he wants to, see them grow up there and kind of thing. But I'm sure we can get him back here for a visit because he's a very good speaker. He'll be a captain hopefully within the year in the Navy. And he's trying to get into be a boat driver of a nuclear carrier. So we'll have to see how that goes.
That's a
Can I
big responsibility.
I ask a question?
He's been a squadron commander and now he wants the whole boat.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Now, you were
That's-
involved in older ships?
Yes, mostly on the Friendship, okay, which was a great experience. It's owned by the National Park Service. I've been a volunteer on it for many, many years.
These are like,
Is it what?
they're like schooners or?
I like all sailing boats. I just sold my little sailboat I used to put out in Quantapowhat at the club there, but that's only because I'm getting too old to lift the mast up and put it up. But I love sailing boats. The Friendship is under right now major repairs. It's getting a whole new deck. At some point, if anybody's interested, I'd give you a breakdown on what is right with the Friendship and what is wrong with the Friendship.
All right, Dale, thank you very much. I
Yeah,
am
my
gonna take a
pleasure.
motion to adjourn
Yep.
because we are at the one. Okay, got a motion to adjourn. Second.
Second,
Okay, all those in favor?
aye.
Okay, thank you very much. I apologize for going over time just a little bit.
No, that's my fault. Take
Okay.
care.
Welcome
Yeah.
aboard, Dale.
Thank you.